Okay, people. So now I am in Uncle John's room. And I found the crystal ball. This is another one of those things I've had around forever. Like this thing's got to be like 15 years old, at least. I bought it back in the day. Oh, back in 2002, 3, 4, around that time. Maybe even later than that. Maybe in the 90s. Who knows? I have had that for so long. I have another one around, but I found that one. So anyway, this is Uncle John's room. AKA Andre's playroom. You can see he has much more space now. But he has to be responsible in here. I already told him that. These are craft bins. Right, and then he's got his mega blocks that we were actually sorting out at one point, and then got distracted. I still have, and these are shelves, so we'll be doing craft with that, but I still have some of my kitchen stuff, right? Still have my books in there, people. Books in there. Right. I know. And then, where's that other book? Where's that 100-year-old book? There it is. Right here. This is book number 3. Right here. I pulled it out because it's on that shelf in there, at the bottom, over there. Right. This is a drum. Right. So, anyway, we'll do some crafts in here. He can build his Lego. He can have his track, but he has to learn to keep it clean. And then this here is the black walnut. You can see. Right. This was not this year's. This was last year's. So now Andre and I will decorate the bottles. And then as it comes about, I'll start working on a website, like a web page to sell that stuff. Right? You can see we're getting ready for the walnut art. And yeah. Right. So I got a little space there, right? Extra room. So pulled out everything pretty much from the closet, repacked it. You can see the costumes are gone now. The food, pretty much the food storage is out of here. I just have a little bit left, right? Just a little bit. It's everywhere else in the house. Okay. So that's it. The end of this video. Or maybe I'll put this first. Hold on. Let me see. It's kind of cool. I thought that would inspire him. I want him to get creative. Right? And build his confidence. You know? Isn't that cool? My eyes are getting so bad, people. Anyway, I am in my sewing room, as you can see. And it is, what is it? January 10th, 2019. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning. And I want to keep busy, but I don't want to be on my feet. So, what I'm doing, like the good old days, what this is it was a seat cover. That's what it is. For when my Korean neighbors, when they moved out. Anyway, it has Velcro on it, right? And I've been picking it off. You can see, because I have other ones there, right? I think there's like 3 or 4 pieces. I think this is the last one. 1, 2, there's 2, this is 3. So what I'm going to do, obviously I'm going to pick off the Velcro, and then you have to, it was washed with something that got the fuzz on it, right? But anyway, you can pick off that, right? Use it for something else another day. So I'm taking this off right now, right? And then what I'm going to do with the fabric, if you can see, it's almost like a little bag already, right? So I'm going to cut it off there. And then I'm going to make a little, like, bean bag or rice bag for heat, right? And then, because there's enough for another bag, I can make 2 bags. And then I still have some, so I can even make another smaller bag. So out of this piece of fabric that nobody wants, I can make 3 bags for heating pads. Times 3, that's 9. All I have to do is buy the beans or whatever. And I get the Velcro for another project. Right? So I have to sit here and pick it out. That's what's happening. So since I haven't done one of these videos in a long time, I thought I'd just get you up to speed with what's going on with the non-profit and that kind of stuff. You know, just stuff in general, right? Otherwise, I just sit here and think. Right? It's like the war room. It's just a different kind of war room. Right? I have a couple of war rooms in this house. I got the one over there with all the legislated acts, statutes, and laws. Right? Criminal Code of Canada. That's a big war room, that one. All right. And then I've got the one in my bedroom there where I do my non-profit books. My daughter was in there with me the other day. And she goes, well, what do you do with that computer? Does that one go online? I said, no, that one doesn't go online. That one I use for the non-profit, mostly, in terms of, like, doing my income statements and that kind of thing. Right? And then, this is kind of like a war room, right? Because things get accomplished out of here, you know, not as much as I'd like it to be. You know, it's a small room, so you can't really do too much in it, especially when it gets cluttered. You know, I get overwhelmed with paper. Right? Paper's just sitting in a bin, people. Yeah, all just sitting in a bin. That's the thing, what happens when loved ones go missing and you have to go find them. Right? Or try to find them, fight for them. Fight for your loved ones that got left behind. Speaking of that, if I didn't have this to talk to, in terms of you, the viewer, I'd be sitting here stewing, thinking how Fraser Health Authority, with their antics with Uncle John, depressed his family so much, right, for so long, that it, you know, emotionally stunted some of the growth of my children. Because you have to remember, the brain is developing up until age 25, at least. Right? In terms of a young mind, right? After age 25, it stabilizes. Right? But the majority of the learning when it comes to the brain is up until age 25. Shimei was only age 22. Right? So, you know, like when I took it to court with Uncle John, right? the corporation. I don't even want to say lawyer, right? Because if you're dealing with a corporation that is supposed to serve the public, drop the protect part. That's for the police. The police serve and protect. Hospitals serve, right? But it's to be done in a way that is in the best interest of the patient. Duty of care is to the patient, right? And that's how they justified doing what they did to Uncle John, although the lawyer himself admitted that they didn't have access to his files. They couldn't locate them. Because 2 years had passed by this point, so they got moved to someplace else, right? And they want the cops to go looking for it, basically. Fraser Health Authority doesn't want to go looking for their own files. They want the cops to go looking for those files, as if the cops really want to go looking for fucking files, right? You know what I mean? It's not even the cop's job. It's the corporation's job to stand up in court and face the music in terms of what they did to Uncle John. And since they seem to think that they did nothing wrong, they should be the ones to produce those fucking files to a judge, not wait for the cops to show up with that paperwork. But it was just a tactic, people. That's the thing. It was just a stalling tactic, right? So it just put my kids deeper into depression. This is the point of this, okay? Like I said, I haven't done one of these videos for a long time, so I'm just going to roll with it. You can see what I'm doing. You can hear it. Because I'd be sitting here thinking by myself, you know? Right? The mind starts to run away, you know? So, anyway, when I get into War Room number 1 over there, this one's mild compared to that one over there, people. Okay? You know, I am going to state it down. I'm writing the premiere, people. It won't take me long to write the premiere, trust me. Once I'm in that room, I'm good to go. All I need is a week. That's it. Just a week. And it will be under 20 pages. And Fraser Health Authority has to take some responsibility as to what happened to Shimei. Because of their negligence, not only once with Uncle John, but twice with not freaking dealing with it. And then, because they didn't fucking deal with it when they had a chance, my daughter just became even more vulnerable, right, to the indoctrinations, right, around her that were of bad influence. And we know how society works these days. Well, probably for a long time. People tend to use violence and, you know, the intimidation and fear and all that crap, right, to control others, right? I mean, that's nothing new. I have a book sitting over there on my DJ equipment, on my turntables, called The Control Freaks. Do you remember? Do people... Let me go get this book. I'll be right back. Just hold on a minute. I gotta step over this cord because this book is an old book, people. I'm telling you. My aunt had this book. My Auntie Jerry. Mm-hmm. Okay. At one point, I tried to get Shimei to read it. I tried to get Shimei to read about domestic violence and, you know, that kind of stuff. Right? Gave her books to read and stuff. Right? I told her, no, you can't just go online and just, you know, you need to read. right? We need to read more. The only thing is, people, she never had the shit kicked out of her, you know? When people get the shit kicked out of them, like I've been beat in the past, right? My kids didn't see me be beat because they weren't even around in those days, right? But, like, you know, if a woman gets beat, then, you know, she's a little more apt to think about it, right? If a woman's never been beat, like beat, right? Then they don't really know. And Shimei was gullible, right? So anyway, here's the book. Do you see? This is an old book, people. Okay? I remember my aunt having this book. I remember my mom talking about this book. I was like a teenager. I was young. Young woman. 1991. And that's a copyright. This is a copyright. 1991. The book was written, as always, Grace, 1990. So how old would I have been? Can't think math right now. Anyway, I tried to get her to read this book because I've had this book forever myself. I read the book years and years and years and years ago, right? But the thing is, when the brain is developing and you suffer extreme trauma, it doesn't have to be physical, people, right? And it's repetitive in terms of, you know, one day Andre was here, next day he was gone. One day Sierra was fine, 10 days later she was a junkie. I mean, like, how does that work? Right? And then you start to put your life back together, and you lose one of the main, most important people in your life, and you're forbidden to see them because of some corporation facilitating that situation for monetary gain and to feed into the seniority supremacist complex that is within the public union sector with some of their senior employees. Right. So I've come to the conclusion Fraser Health Authority needs to be reminded of that. Right. So moving along, as I sit here and think, right, what's going on with the nonprofit currently is one of the board directors has approached me and is working on a project here. I'm not quite too sure yet because I haven't gotten the paperwork on it yet, right? But it's related to immigration, I think. So, in light of that, and what I work on, because I tell them, look, you let me do what I want, you do what you want. Right? In other words, you know, I had the little house, right? You know, I mean, obviously he knew about it and everything. It was all, everybody knew, right? Right? And I did what I had to do. I still have to finish the books on that. But what I'm doing right now is I'm sorting out the house a bit, right? Kind of rearranging things, pulling stuff out, putting things away. You know, I cleared out Uncle John's room to the best of my ability. So now it's Andre's playroom. right? Craft room, aka still Uncle John's room. It's always going to be Uncle John's room, people. Even when I move, Uncle John will have a room. I've already established that one. When I move, Uncle John still gets his room. He will always have a room in this house. Yep. That's what I told him when he was alive. I said, look, after you're dead, and I'm dead, right? If you want to come back and live with me, come back home, that's fine. You can do that, but I'm never living with Joan again. No. Joan can stay in her own place. Yeah. So that's why it's important Uncle John always has a room in case he wants to come back home. Right? I have to be able to provide him with a room. Right? Well, it's family. You don't forget the ones you love. Right? No matter what happens, if you love a person, you love a person. You're never going to forget. Right? Someone doesn't live in your house for 23 years, invest all that time and energy, and you invest all that time and energy and just to forget. Right? It's not like we had a huge fight and decided that it was a mutual agreement that we weren't going to talk to each other again. It wasn't anything like that, people. It was like Uncle John went into the hospital for pneumonia that kind of gave him a bit of delirium because of his age. And then the next thing you knew, he was freaking being drugged and they kidnapped him and stole his money and told his family to fuck off. And that put Shimei into a tailspin. Because her brain, the cortisol. The remaining ones that are still alive still suffer from it. Because we're still traumatized. So through that being traumatized, because of the negligence of corporations, whether directly or indirectly, puts us in a bad state. So yeah, that's not what I was talking about. So yes, that's probably why I put on this camera, because I didn't want to dwell on this shit, right? Sitting here, like I say, you can start brooding. Right. So, anyway, yes, that's what I was saying. So, I have a mailing I have to do by the end of the month. So, the goal is to clear off the table now, as I do other things in a day. Because I don't have a lot of workspace, right? And, I have to mail out black walnuts, English walnuts. I have 2 different types of English walnuts. The black walnuts, those types of things, right? To Brazil, Kitimat, BC, which is up north, and Missouri. I'm going to mail out 3 packages with just nuts in them for planting, right? And since I'm doing that, and I'd like to help a family up in Mexico, quite possibly, I'm just putting it out there, right? To maybe come to Canada, right? Through legal immigration, only maybe somewhat fast-tracked. Just a little more fast-tracked, right? So I'm working on that. I'm just starting to explore my options on it, right? Because the board director himself, like I said, is doing something with immigration. I'm not sure what it is. He explained it to me, but it's all new stuff to me, right? So I didn't quite understand it. I'm going to see if he can help me to help one family come to Canada. Right? And then because we know, Tisha and I, a few people, I wouldn't say a lot of people, but a few people that come from that part of the world, in terms of like El Salvador and Honduras, and Nicaragua, and those kind of places. I'm going to see if I can hook up with an organization or a church where their congregation is within that ethnic group, right? So that if we can make arrangements to have a family come here, they'll have I guess you could say maybe like a sponsor, right? In terms of, speaking their own language and that type of thing. And can connect them with services. So I don't know how long that's going to take. That could take a while, right? Because I haven't spoken to the board director about that, per se. Because it slipped my mind. I was going to actually talk to him about it, and I just talked to him like 3 days ago. And that's when he was telling me about this other stuff, right? He mentioned the other stuff before, right? So I know he's like itching, right? So, I'm going to just say, hey, I have a family, they want to come to Canada, build a new life. And you got to help me, right? Help me to get them here with the one family first and see what happens with that. You want to make sure that they're, they have the right support systems in place, right? So they're going to be successful, right? Because it's hard on them. It's hard on families that come from different countries that don't speak English, don't know the culture, that type of thing. There is an adjustment period in there. And the more they have a support system, the better it is for them. I seen that at Gateway Place when I lived there, right? So I'm feeling pretty confident about that. I just don't know how long it would take. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen, right? If I can help to facilitate it, well, why not? Canada is a big place. We get 100,000 immigrants coming into this part of BC in Canada every year. And if we can do that every year for other people in other countries, right? I'm sure we can take one family from up by the Mexican border and have them come here. Right. So since I'm doing a mailing at the end of the month and I'm clearing off my table, I'm thinking, remember, this is what I'm thinking about. I'm not talking right now, I'm just thinking. If this wasn't running, these are the things that I'd be thinking about. I'd be making plans to do, right? So now, just because I already put it out there, and I'm going through my house and I am sorting out stuff, and I'm coming across a few things that could quite easily go into a box, and I can send it out to Tijuana. That's where some of these families are, living in tents with their lives in limbo, right? With craft material and paper and that type of thing for the kids. It won't be much, they'll have to share it, but it will be something. I think what it does is it just kind of boils down to the thought that counts, right? And because I have sent craft material in the mail before, through customs border, it will be fine. So that's what I'm going to work on. That will be fun. I need something fun in my life. I don't have a lot of fun, people. But whenever you work with kids, it's always fun. Right? So now I'm excited to pack up a little box. Just little odd knick-knack ends around here, right? I have lots of paper, lots of colored paper. I still have brand new pencil crayons in the box that I've never done anything with. When I did that event in 2012 over there up by Bingy's restaurant. The container was pulled out. I don't know where it came from, but it's sitting right there by Amari's crib. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, well, what am I going to do with this? Because I need to get a storage room or give some stuff away. So I'm not getting a storage room, so I've already decided that after I get a little more organized and whatnot, you know, I'm going to start working on Andre's walnut art page. And I guess you could say marketing the black walnut. So, for example, right, I could sell a bottle of black walnut ink and it comes with a cookbook. Right? Because I got a whole lot of cookbooks, people. So before I'd give away the cookbooks as in just put them out in the streets, I would give them away that way. Right. Because I got doubles. I'd start with the doubles first. And little teddy bears and just whatever, right? Just little odds and ends. You know, maybe I'll throw in a blender or something. I thought that would be fun. Gonna try and have a few little yard sales this year, but every time I say I'm going to do a yard sale, I never do. So anyway, not worried about that right now. So I am going to pack myself up a little box of craft material and that type of stuff for some kids up in Tijuana, which is on the border of California and Mexico. As I talked to the board director about helping me to help one family to come here and build a life. That family, a family that wants to come here, right? Will that happen? I don't know. Can it happen? Yes, it can. That's the thing. It's something that can happen. So, because it can happen, it's worthy to think about it. Right? And if you're going to think about it, you might as well talk about it. And then when you talk about it, if you can't do everything, at least do some of what you said you were going to do. Right? So, I guess this is a long video now. It's different than lives. Right? So I'll show you what my sewing room looks like. It's still pretty hairy in here. Right. I try not to let it upset me. Instead, I try to find and be grateful for the things that I do have. Right? No matter how insignificant it might seem, this might make some wicked, what do you call those, heating pads, right? Because it's just the right kind of fabric. It's not too heavy. It's not too porous. It's durable. It's soft. Okay, so I'm going to show you my sewing room, and then I'm going to end this video, and then we'll just see where it goes from there, people. Wait, I'm still doing that. Not done that one yet. Oh, I have to change the glasses. Oh, my eyes are getting so bad. these are the ones they're for reading, right? I use them just for sewing. I don't like reading with them though too much, because when you're looking, it's got that half and half stuff, and it's hard for me to go back and forth between the two visions. So I use dollar store glasses for general looking. And even then, these aren't very good anymore. So, let's see. Here's where we're at. It's got some cool books in there. Right. I could probably throw a couple books in. Okay. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm picking stuff out. Little zippers off of pants that most people just, whoops, would have thrown out. That'll be good for something one day. There's 4 of them. See, no room for nothing. Look at this. This is stupid. What a stupid sewing room. Who can sew in that, people? Can you sew in that? I can't sew in that. So anyway, the goal is for the next 2 weeks, clear off this sewing table and get these packages out in the mail. And then after that, I'm going to start sewing pants for Andre and Amari. And just little things like that. Tisha wants to sew too. So, I'll get back into my costumes a bit. Yeah. I still have a fair amount of work to do in the yard this year. Heavy duty shit, laying in bricks. The problem though is Amari doesn't move very much. And I don't know how it's going to be when he gets older. It's another thing I have to start thinking about. And I think about it often. Right? But all I can do is take it one day at a time. So, Andre has pretty much his own personal play space. I'll show you tomorrow. Or when it's done. It's not really quite done yet. It's almost done. Well, I guess I can show you now. I'll turn this off. I'll show you how far I've gotten. And then this way you can see. Right? And then I don't have to worry about doing another video for a little while. To compensate for what you didn't see if I don't add it in with this video. And then you'll wonder, then you'll know why I'm sitting here doing this, because I've been working on that shit for days. And I got up into my other closet and cleared it out and rearranged it, and I had to move those costumes. Right. Alright, I was successful at it, but it took a little while to do it. Found some clothes along the way. Made me motivated to want to start wearing my clothes, people. I never get to wear my clothes. I'm always in the yard, right? Looking like a freaking farmer. You know? I got some really nice clothes, some nice jackets and shit. I got this poncho that I have since I was like 20. Nice poncho. Only I get sad when I go and I look through my stuff now. I go into my room. Tisha was with me and I said, I'm so sad. I'm so sad. Shmei should be here. The two of you. Right. As a parent, you think, oh, when I die, my two girls will share, and you know, of course, if Sierra's around, they'll give her something, but it was basically between the two girls, right, to share. And no, I'm like, Tisha, you've inherited everything, pretty much. Right? Yes, we've got little Leia May coming up in the ranks, but, you know, you have to be willing to hang on to some of this stuff. And then, of course, I encouraged Tisha that she needs to hang on to some of this stuff. I said, you know, you can take something like a piece of fabric, like a jacket or a dress or something, hang it, put plastic over it, and it will hang there for 50 years. Take it out of the plastic, and it will look brand new. You know? Or that poncho. I'm 57. I had that at least when I was 20, so that poncho is like 31 years old, 37 years old. Next time I pull out my costumes, I'll pull out that poncho and I'll wear that poncho, and you'll see that it looks brand new. Serious. Okay, so I'm going to take you into Uncle John's room, aka Andre's playroom, aka the craft room. And then we're just going to end it with this video. Peace out. Hold on. Okay, people. So now I am in Uncle John's room. And I found the crystal ball. This is another one of those things I've had around forever. Like this thing's got to be like 15 years old, at least. I bought it back in the day. Oh, back in 2002, 3, 4, around that time. Maybe even later than that. Maybe in the 90s. Who knows? I have had that for so long. I have another one around, but I found that one. So anyway, this is Uncle John's room, aka Andre's playroom. You can see he has much more space now, but he has to be responsible in here. I already told him that. These are craft bins. Alright, and then he's got his mega blocks that we were actually sorting out at one point, and then got distracted. I still have, and these are shelves, so we'll be doing craft with that, but I still have some of my kitchen stuff, right? Still have my books in there, people. Books in there. Right. I know. And then, where's that other book? Where's that 100-year-old book? There it is. Right here. This is book number 3. Right here. I pulled it out because it's on that shelf in there, at the bottom, over there. Right. This is a drum. Right. So, anyway, we'll do some crafts in here. He can build his Lego. He can have his track, but he has to learn to keep it clean. And then this here is the black walnut. You can see. Right. This was not this year's. This was last year's. So now Andre and I will decorate the bottles. And then as it comes about, I'll start working on a website, like a web page to sell that stuff. Alright, you can see we're getting ready for the walnut art. And, yeah. Alright. So I got a little space there, right? Extra room. So pulled out everything pretty much from the closet, repacked it. You can see the costumes are gone now. The food, pretty much the food storage is out of here. I just have a little bit left, right? Just a little bit. It's everywhere else in the house. Okay. So that's it. The end of this video. Or maybe I'll put this first. Hold on. Let me see. It's kind of cool. I thought that would inspire him. I want him to get creative. Right? And build his confidence, you know? Isn't that cool?